Sundowning sucks. Sundowning or sundown syndrome. What the heck is that? Sundowning seems like a really big mystery and sounds complicated. The truth is, it's not. Families are often not clear on what sundowning is or how to handle it. Most doctors don't have the knowledge, skills, or the time to help families handle these super disruptive episodes of behaviors. Every day around this time, she just loses it. She loses her shit for no reason. It's insane. All of a sudden, mom is a maniac. But why? What's happening? Sundowning is a group of symptoms and behaviors that a person with dementia suffers later in the afternoon and the evening and can continue on throughout the night. It typically begins as the sun goes down. For approximately 25% of people with Alzheimer's, this syndrome will develop during the middle to late stages of dementia. Researchers do not know the exact cause, and it's been a subject of debate for quite some time. But some doctors speculate that it has something to do with the internal clock or the circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythm is where our internal clock gets all fouled up. The person's dementia symptoms are much more intense than usual if they are sundowning. So, very basically, it's a period of time when a person with dementia has a big spike in behaviors and confusion. What causes sundowning? Well, many believe it's simply exhaustion at the end of the day, and still others hypothesize that it's due to the changes in the lighting, which in turn causes disorientation and peaks agitation. Increased shadows can disorient and confuse a person with dementia. They cannot orientate to their surroundings. Shadows or glare or uneven lighting can make a person have a harder time making sense of their environment. Whatever the reason, there are things that we can do to significantly reduce these behaviors. At this stage of the disease process, the cells of the temporal and parietal lobes of the brain are affected. The person will have difficulty with visual, spatial, and 3D relationships. This impairment alone can lead to behaviors and acting out inappropriately. The brain cannot coordinate the information that is taken in by the eyes, the ears, and other senses. Have you ever observed your loved one having a significant contrast in behaviors from morning to daytime compared to the afternoon and evening hours? They could be sundowning. So now let's take a look at the symptoms that we should be looking for that might alert us that our loved one is suffering from sundowning or sundown syndrome. Symptoms can include anxiety, heightened confusion, fatigue, anger or outbursts, wandering, pacing, agitation, delusions, hallucinations, screaming, yelling, exit seeking or elopement, disorientation, and being suspicious of others. Wow, that's some pretty intense symptoms, right? The burden of sundowning can be monumentally challenging for family members, caregivers, and staff. The most important thing to remember is this too shall pass. Someone who is suffering from dementia, they require more sleep. However, limiting naps to 1 hour or less will help to keep the circadian rhythm on the right track. In addition to the symptoms that we've already mentioned, people can have difficulty differentiating dreams from reality. Shadows cast by the sun going down are confusing and disorientating to the person with dementia, even frightening. So keeping the blinds closed to reduce shadows and turning on all the lights is one solution. During these heightened episodes, keep the environment quiet. Try to reduce the stimulation around them and limit background noises. If the person is pacing, just let them be. They may just need to move. The sundowning person may follow you around closely and repeat the same question over and over. It's not about the question. It's about the concern behind the question. They are afraid. They feel like they should be doing something, but they can't initiate a task. They just don't know what to do with themselves. So try to engage them in an activity or ask them if they will help you with something important. Actually tell them that it's an important assignment. People with dementia love to help others. It makes them feel important. For a whole list of ideas, you can refer to our videos about activities. We have a 3-part video addressing distractions and activities. It's awesome. Music might also help in sundowning situations. Studies show that sundowning symptoms of agitation and aggression and depression improved with 30 minutes of music therapy at least 3 times a week. Now, music therapy can simply mean playing some of their favorite music. It doesn't necessarily need to be a formal music program. So 30 minutes at least 3 times a week of their favorite music. Reassure the sundowning person by letting them know that they're safe and using a calm, soothing voice. Let them know that everything is okay and that you are there to support them. If this person is angry, let them know that you understand and that you'll do your very best to make it better. It's important to validate their feelings. Validation is a whole topic that we could spend hours on, and at this point, I would highly recommend that you get my book, Forget Me Not. We talk a lot about sundowning and validation techniques, which can really help you with your loved one. When you're dealing with sundowning, it is very important that the patient knows that you're listening to them. They need to be heard and understood. If you happen to be dealing with hallucinations, this can be particularly challenging. It is vital that you do not tell them that they are hallucinating. This is also not something you should disagree with or argue about. Remember, we cannot argue with a person with dementia. If the hallucinations are frightening or upsetting to them and all of your attempts to divert and redirect fail, it may be time to have the neurologist intervene and prescribe an antipsychotic drug. Again, be reassuring. Hallucinations are covered in depth in my book, Forget Me Not. When behaviors arise, there are some things that we can do and things that we can try to rule out. The first thing we should rule out are the basic needs that the person may be having. They may need to toilet. They may be uncomfortable, like they may have uncomfortable clothing on. They may be in pain or hungry. They could be thirsty, or perhaps they're too hot or too cold. They might be looking for someone or something. When we're trying to help, the most important things are to try to keep even lighting throughout the environment, reduce the noise level and the amount of stimulation in the environment. Try to get the person into the sunlight for at least 10 minutes every morning, which will help with the circadian rhythm. Get the patient more vitamin D and don't let them sleep all day. Make sure to balance periods of rest with activities. When a person is experiencing sundown syndrome, they may have trouble making sense of their environment. Shadows and glare can be especially disturbing, causing confusion. These disturbances can manifest into behaviors of anxiety, aggression, irritability, fear, and feeling a loss of control. Try to keep the lighting equal throughout the space. Dark spots or shadows can cause a feeling of distress, causing even more confusion. Bright light throughout will provide a clearer picture of their surroundings. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. This is a story about Dorothy. It's late afternoon, and Dorothy's behavior begins to change. It's like she's a different person. Her dementia symptoms go through the roof and she becomes unmanageable. She gets angry easily, she paces, she exit seeks. She's so nervous and jittery. Dorothy's caregiver has a new plan of action. Knowing that these symptoms are coming, the caregiver can plan and prepare. Before lunch, they go for a walk and stretch and get some exercise in the sunshine. Remember, it is believed that getting 10 minutes of sunshine per day can resynchronize your circadian rhythm or the sleep-wake cycle. Even sitting by a window can be beneficial. Before the sun starts setting, the caregiver closes all the blinds and curtains and turns on all the lights to minimize shadows. We know that Dorothy enjoys manipulating fabrics and used to be a seamstress. We have a sewing box filled with different fabrics and ribbons to distract her into an activity that she enjoys. We also know that she loves caramel candies, and we have a few of those on hand as well. She seems to respond better when we have a big smile and reassure her that we're feeling the same way that she is feeling and that we're right there by her side. By reassuring Dorothy and having several activities planned, closing the blinds, and creating a less stimulating environment around her, we have greatly reduced Dorothy's anxiety and sundowning symptoms. So that's the big mystery of sundowning. Sundowning is simply heightened or intense behaviors in the afternoon and evening and throughout the night. The problem with these hyper behaviors is that many times this is when families decide they are no longer able to take care of their person at home. Often this is when a decision is made to move their loved one into a care setting. And while these behaviors and this syndrome will not last forever, it's very difficult to guess how long these symptoms will last. The more we prepare and plan activities and distractions, the easier these symptoms can be managed. I hope that if you're dealing with a person suffering from sundowning, that you're able to get some help. This is a very difficult time in your dementia journey. Sundowning sucks. Let me know if you have any other questions about this topic in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. Together we can. See you soon. How would you like to walk into work every day knowing that you can handle any situation that comes your way? I can teach you how to be a dementia specialist just like me, simply by logging onto my website at answersabout.alz.org. You can be put on our mailing list and notified of all of our upcoming trainings. I will teach you all the skills that you need to feel confident no matter what challenges you are facing.